Get your rub on with Addicted to...
Hello, Addicted to the Q world. This is sponsored by King Louie's Meat Apostles. Tonight, we are joined by Brian, my co-host, and Daniel from Crooked Q. How are you doing today?
Doing awesome.
Did you cook any this weekend?
Not at all. I did some steaks this evening. It's been a weekend of cleanup at the house and taking my son for orientation at UMKC, so didn't have time to cook.
So you just opened your wallet and just dumped it all out, right?
Yeah, pretty close.
College is expensive.
Even in-state tuition is stupid.
Yes, yes. But see, I went, and UMKC is kind of the same way. My sister went to a private college. It was a lot more expensive, but all her crap was paid for. When you go to like a state school, that's just the fine details that they get you later for.
Yeah, it's not going to break the bank, but it's not going to be cheap. How's that?
Oh, no. No, I did 5 pork butts last weekend and 20 this weekend, so I wasn't doing crap today.
Yeah. I grilled some steaks for dinner. That was about all I did.
So let's start. What's your team name and where are you from?
Crooked Q Barbecue. I also compete with some other friends of mine, the Smoky Mountain Boys. So I have 2 teams, but my main team's Crooked Q Barbecue, out of Kansas City. Mainly do catering and promoting sauces now. I'm in 3 stores with those now here in Kansas City area. Really don't care much about the competition side of it. I mean, I do because it's nice to see your name, get the trophy, stuff like that. But I'm more like Hillbilly and all them. We'd rather feed the people and do stuff like that. But it's fun to do the competitions and stuff too.
Plus, the competitions kind of get your name out there a little bit here and there to kind of build the clientele.
Very true. So I'm doing more and more. I still don't do a lot of KCBS right now. I did in the past, but this year I kind of only did a couple. Next year I'm going to ramp up and do a few extra KCBS plus doing the unsanctioned ones as well. So trying to push the name out there.
You did Olathe, right?
Yeah, we did Olathe. We did that one as with the Smoky Mountain Boys. So that was a cold one.
You cook on the same smokers for both teams, right? Whenever you do it with.
Yeah, we all smoke on the WSMs.
Do you have the Hunsaker Vortex?
I have the Vortex baskets in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that in mind. It's a game changer. It makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, I think Rob actually cooked for the first time on his tonight, and he sent me messages. He goes, "This thing is holding steady." He's like, "It's awesome." So
it doesn't move.
Once it's in place, it stops. It stays there.
I want to switch my fire baskets out and my drums for with Hunsakers here one of these days. They work, but they work a lot better with Hunsakers. But so, how many contests have you cooked this year, and do you plan on doing any more?
I'm doing one more unsanctioned this year. I've done Olathe. I did a rib burn, and I did the KCK. I can't remember the name of it. It was KCK, the VFW one or that one.
The Shriners. Yeah.
Yeah, the Shriners. Yeah. It was some big names over there. It was 30 teams. It was in the middle of the pack with most of the meats. I had Brock Younger over with T-Dogs helping me, and we ended up with 11th there in ribs, so that was nice to see. Almost got the top 10. I was happy. So,
yeah, that's a good with that caliber of teams. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we did walk away with some ribbons and beans, dessert, and Bloody Mary, so that was good. That was nice to do.
Are you cooking the Royal too?
Actually, I'm not. I've got a wedding expo that I'm doing now, and like I said, it's about the money right now, especially putting the catering name out there.
I always say guaranteed money takes the precedent over money you might have a chance to win.
Right, and we definitely are planning on it next year. This year, we decided against it with this wedding expo to just put our, eggs in one basket and go that way and see how many freaking leads we can get. So,
Yeah, wedding expo that could shine up a lot of business. Can't pass that one up at all.
No, it's
Mhm.
one of Casey Engaged. It's one of the largest wedding expos. They have 4 a year here in Kansas City. I'm signed up for 3 of them, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll actually quit my day job.
So when did you start cooking barbecue or competing?
Oh, back 1994, right
Wow,
after my senior year, I started working with that guy over there, Brian and Rob, over at Rouse's Barbecue.
that was your first
So,
mistake.
Yeah.
well, my first mistake was meeting him in 3rd grade.
Yes.
So unfortunately, that's a brother from another mother. So, but yeah, we've been doing it since '94. And then what? I think 96, 97 is when we actually decided to try and do some competitions and got hooked on it there. Him with Rubs and both of us just trying to learn everything. And we found some good people like Florida Skin and Bones to kind of give us some advice along the way. So, I mean, that's pretty much where I got started and took a little bit of time off and really got back into cooking comps over the last 6, 7 years. Started my food truck in 13 and started doing comps again about the same time.
How
Yeah.
was the food truck?
Food truck was great. I mean, we had a pretty good following, and then life happens, divorce happens, that food truck has to close. You open a new one. I've got 4 times the followers now in the new truck with the Crooked Q, so I guess it was a blessing in disguise. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
So then
What kind of smokers are you running on at home?
I have the WSMs one for comps. I've got an FEC 100 for when I'm doing like caterings and stuff like that, and then I'm about to pick up one of the Smoking Brothers Myron Mixon's 3600s here in the next week or two from American Fire. So
I decided after last weekend that if I'm going to cook a large amount of food, I cannot do it on drums. Holy crap.
no, drums are not the way.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's that 3600 is going to be a nice game changer especially for the catering side. It's not going to be for comps, but it's going to be for my catering side of everything.
Does it hold
Yeah.
temp well? Does your
What's
is
that?
that like a is that like a does that hold temp well? Is that like a gravity feed where you put a
No,
stoker
it's
in?
actually the Smoking Brothers and the Myron Mixon. It's the pellet smoker, the
Oh, I
newest
forgot
one they
about
just
that
came
new
out
one.
with. Yeah.
I heard Myron Mix and I forgot they merged.
Yeah, just for that one, or the 2400 and the 3600 for this year, they did that one. So
Yeah.
it's pretty nice setup, man. I'll be able to keep it, roll it around, and put it in the garage next to the motorcycle, so it's not staying outside.
I always say I want something that can cook about 25 butts at a time. That would be a game changer.
I'm pretty sure I can get pretty close with this 3600. I mean, it'll fit 12 full size sheet pans or steam pans in it, so that's
Yeah,
pretty
you
good
should.
size.
I could get about 2 butts in a pan, so yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean the FEC it'll hold 16, but I'll tell you right now, at 16, it's a fire hazard. I know this for firsthand.
Yeah. It's not a good day of cooking unless you almost catch something on fire.
That's true. I've only had to call the fire department once when the food truck was on fire. So
I did one time, and that was I didn't call the fire department, but I was smoking bacons, and that's an electric smoker, and it's not a good idea.
I wouldn't see that being a great idea.
No, it really wasn't. They pork butts have a lot of grease, but bacon's even worse.
Yeah.
So then so you just recently started the catering thing after the food truck, or
Well, we started the food truck and was doing catering the same time. I shut my food truck that I just had. I shut it down just to concentrate mainly on catering. I mean, the events, they're so hit and miss, and it's hard to get people to want to do guarantees and things like that to make your money. So it's like, I'd rather have the guaranteed money of the catering. If I only do 10 or 15 a year, cool, that's 10 or 15 that I'm guaranteed the money on, rather than go out for an event, make $100, but I spent $1,000 for the event.
yep,
So
I can get that 100%.
Yeah.
So when do the sauces come around?
Actually, about 2 years ago, I started playing around with some sauces and decided I wanted a bourbon sauce. The funny part was I never even made a base bourbon sauce. My first bourbon sauce was my drunken pineapple. I did a pineapple flavored bourbon sauce as my first one.
I think that's
And
the one. That's my favorite one.
yeah, and then I developed it, and then I developed the pineapple blazing, and then I went back with just the basic bourbon sauce. So it was weird that my base bourbon sauce was the third one I made.
And then you're recently coming out, or is that a secret? Is that the new one a secret?
It's not really a secret. It's kind of a collaboration with that Sofa King guy. We have one that's more of a comp sauce. I've let Brian try it. He liked it, and everybody who's tried it so far has been like, oh damn. So
I think I might have tried it at Hunsaker. I think Bum had
not
some.
this one.
Oh, and that's completely different. I tried the peach
Yeah,
one.
you tried the Poppin' Peach one, I think, at the Hunsaker one. That was my latest one. But then I've got one that I'm working with Brian that I stumbled across it, and it's kind of a collaboration of one of his and one of mine, and put them together, and it's actually really good. So
Will that one be at Mayetta, Brian?
If somebody gives me enough at Effingham, because it's definitely one that's for pork. I'm gonna say that it could be a great comp sauce for pork. I don't know about brisket and all that other stuff, but
I could see pork and I could see chicken, especially with the little touch of heat that I'm adding to it. That it'll be nice. So nothing like over the top heat, just kind of that little bite at the end of it. So
yeah.
Well, I know you two have helped me a lot in trying to get the sauce off the ground. I think that is the biggest challenge, is going from an idea to actually getting it off the ground. That is, and everybody wants their hand out on some money for EINs, LLCs, insurance, all the above.
It's amazing how much it costs just to get it started.
But I figure once you get one out, at least you have some of the groundwork done to where it's not as big of a thing. You just make different labels and different recipes and go from there.
Right. It's getting that first one out it's just getting through the steps of getting the insurances and all your UPCs and all that in line, getting your, so you're legal to sell it or whatever. That's the biggest steps. Once you get the first one out, second, the third, the sixth, I'll have 7 soon. So it's like Brian, he's got what, 6 now? 6 or 7?
8.
8. See, I don't even know. Can't even keep up.
I don't even know them. I think I have them all. I'm trying to check the second guessing. Where are they going with this? Have you thought about running a co-packer on your sauces, or are you just kind of seeing where it goes before you take that step?
I'm waiting. If I get it into a couple more stores and the orders start coming in, I'm going to move to a co-packer. For right now, still taking it to my commissary, doing them there, and keep doing it myself until, it gets too much for me.
That's kind of what that's your idea, kind of what made me start mine, because I'm like, I don't want to buy 2,000 bottles of sauce and sit on them if I can't sell them.
Right.
Plus, that's a big startup. I mean, it takes a lot of time and money to make that leap.
Yep.
Definitely. It's one of those that I normally have about 300 bottles on hand, but I don't have 300 bottles made up on hand.
Yep.
I might have a case of each on hand. If somebody wants more, it's not hard to have it ready to go and get it out the door. By the way, I need to get you some more for the Addicted Q page anyway. So I need to get some over to Odie. So restock him. He told me the other day he's starting to run low.
So what advice would you have for anybody that wants to get into cooking barbecue, competition barbecue, sauce, any of the above?
Ask questions. Get to know everybody you can and ask questions. That's the biggest thing you can do. I mean, just get to know everybody. talk to the big names. They're going to talk to you. They're going to help you. They're going to give you, help you with secrets and stuff like that. They might not tell you everything, but they're going to steer you in the right direction.
That is exactly. I always tell people they may not give you 100% of the answers, but if they know you're paying attention and trying to listen and gain something, they'll tend to give you about 90% of it if you listen.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't go out thinking you're going to change the world with everything. Go out there and learn, because you're going to lose more than you're going to win.
That was my first year. I thought I was just King Kong, and everything I tasted was just amazing. And how could I dare not score where I thought I would? And then after the off season, I kind of started taking a look, and I'm like, now I kind of take a bite, and I'll be like, that ain't my best, or that ain't gonna do. And sometimes it still does good, and sometimes you're right, and other times it doesn't go your way. But
back when Brian and I first got started, all of our thing was our first couple of competitions, we were getting calls. Then everything just stopped. It's like, what happened? It's like the first VFW we ever did. We were calls in like 3 different categories, and then all of a sudden, the next comp, we didn't hear nothing. It's like we got hooked, and all of a sudden, just shit changed. So
I always say that the first team out the gate always get calls, because that's just what set the hooks. You have to get calls your first couple contests.
They know the rookies.
Yeah. Oh, that looks like a rookie box. Go ahead and give them a good score.
That was it was Carl in Columbia. There was a team that was a brand new first contest. And he got in the rib burn on Friday night. He got a 7th place ribs and with all the master teams. And he's like, "Yep, I'll see you next year with a 40-foot toy hauler and an ex-wife."
Yep, I don't have. I have the ex-wife, but I don't have the 40-foot toy hauler yet.
Some of them rigs you see them guys pull in is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, my trailer I had was nice. It was just a regular camper that I converted over. It was a pull behind 30-footer. I converted it was a bunkhouse. I converted the kitchen to a food truck, but I could do events because I had beds in the front, beds in the back. We could stay there for the entire weekend.
That would be nice.
It was awesome. I mean, because it had the one slide, so the kitchen was huge inside. Brian, you've saw the inside of it. It was like a giant kitchen. And then I had to retire that one after I blew an axle and the roof starting to peel off. So looking for a new trailer, but I'm not going to go with. I'm going to look for a toy hauler, but it's going to be more for being able to do comps and be able to go and actual travel with it more than anything else. Because I don't think I'm going to go back to a food truck unless things just fall into place right.
I'd love to have a toy hauler, but about 20-foot one maybe, or enough to put a bed and then be able to load my smokers. But the trailer I had at the Royal wouldn't be a bad one. That was a nice one. I had about a 16-footer I borrowed from a buddy, but it didn't have AC in it. He told me I could use it all I want, but not having AC is kind of a deal breaker in September, August.
Right.
Well, you need to have better generators.
Right. The ones I'm using for the rest of the year is coming from City Rent-A-Truck. They loan me a trailer for any events I've got coming up, and they're 14-footers. They work great. Yeah, but the ventilation and not having AC, yeah, definitely that's one reason I'm kind of picking and choosing how many more I'm doing this year. I'm doing Effingham against that guy next to you and a few of the other guys in the addicted crowd that will be there. So other than that, I think if anything, may pick up one more this year if I pick any more up.
And Brian, I learned a very important lesson in that contest: that space heaters run more juice than refrigerators do, apparently.
Yeah.
You could always on one generator.
You could always plugged it into mine.
I didn't run it out till by that time my air mattress was flat. I was cold. I was going to the truck. It didn't matter. I slept on an air mattress when my back was touching the ground. I knew it wasn't worth it anymore.
Yeah, at Culatha, we were having power problems with my trailer, and it was blowing the breaker and stuff. I finally ended up sleeping in the truck. I turned the heater, I turned the seats on. I was like, "Yep, this is where I'm going to sleep the rest of the night."
That was a cold. I slept best at 6 a.m. the next morning when that hour in the truck than I did all night long the night before. But that's Culatha was cold, or Olathe was cold too. That was the weekend before where it was like freezing, wasn't it?
Yeah, It was, and the winds did not help. nothing. I mean, you had to hide on the backside of the trailer just to freaking to keep the wind down at all. It was ridiculous.
I can deal with cold somewhat. It's when that wind starts picking, because then your canopy starts trying to blow away. Everything starts. It's not a fun time.
We didn't even bring a canopy out this time. We just left it. We just put the drums or the WSMs out there, and said we're not even dealing with this year. Last year, our canopy, I trashed the one from last year. I was like, nope, we're not even going to bother with it this year.
Luckily, at the Royal, I had King Louis tent. That was that was a really nice one. So, you said you got a couple more this year. What's your comps that you will cook every year because you like them?
Effingham, it's just a good time. It's the Atchison County Fair up in Kansas, and I'll tell you right now that the people that are up there, they remember you every year you come back. I mean, they're awesome to talk to, and any of them. I mean, plus you walk over, there's a car show, there's the carnival, there's the farm show, everything. And it's just a good time. I mean, everybody up there gets along great. They all share secrets, and it's fun to walk away and say, "Hey, I got the bragging rights from up here."
I also think beating Brian's probably part of the reason you do it too, or your attempt to beat him.
We kind of split last year. He had a few, I had a few. Last year I may or may not have had some. We had some personnel issue. I think
it was a fun show.
Yeah, it was.
That was a fun show.
So,
hey, I can say I took his dessert category away from him last year. I was happy about that.
Yeah, I normally win dessert up there, and he took it away from me. I wasn't real happy about that part.
Yeah, but you all took my pork.
Did he send Rob? Did he send Rob over to shig off you?
No, Rob was just trying to keep Brian over there at the tent. Brian, every time he turned around, was off running, talking to somebody. Rob was doing it all.
He does do that a lot.
Sound familiar? Brian, timer.
Should I send? Should I make sure Rob has the Inkbird thermometer before you guys go, or who should I put in charge?
I would probably make sure Rob is prepared, because Brian gets a beverage in his hand and it's about 3-4 tenths away normally.
But the Royal, that was a good fun night, even with the rain. That was a really good time. We need to do that more.
Yeah,
I think Mayetta is going to be fun too.
Mayetta will be fun.
It's going to be hot, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Now you're bringing your thermometer, right?
Yes.
Good, because I don't know if I am, since I'm packing light. I only have a pork to do, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm bringing everything.
I'll have my instant read, probably my Bluetooth, and my fan controller, so I think we'll be fine. That, and I'm sure Thomas will bring his stuff, so we should be plenty good.
That's an awful lot of fancy stuff to take with you.
Well, I'm cooking the Invitational the next day too, so I got to have my regular setup. Plus, I'm always the guy that's like, I plan for 2 of my thermometers to fail because they probably will, so I'll just have the extra one just in case. Like, enough crap has gone wrong for me at a contest that I usually make sure I have extra crap.
I got to the point with my competitions that the fewest electronic devices I needed, the best. I mean, I used to have all the digital thermometers, all the freaking Bluetooth stuff, and I just kind of got away from all that. I have my instant read, and that's about all I need anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if that goes bad, then we're having issues.
Which, ribs, I don't even use a thermometer. I just use a toothpick or something to probe them. I don't even do that. And then chicken, I do thermometers, and since I'm cooking brisket, I am going to thermometer that, even though it's mainly just going to be by feel. But it's like, but I could go without. I did rain. I'm fine without fan controllers, but the fan just lets me have peace of mind.
Yeah. I mean, with my WSMs, they run like a top until something happens, like a door gets knocked off or something like that. Other than that, I set it and forget it with those.
That's what somebody always says about WSMs. They're like, well, what should I run? I tried to make it run at 220. No, them things run at whatever they like to run at. You just let them run.
Mine don't normally sit. I can get it to sit right at 250, 275 and leave it there. Was talking to Weekend Bum the other day and talking about running it a little bit hotter and trying that. I got it and got it to sit right at 300, 320 or 315 right in that area, just to kind of run a little faster, just to see how I liked it. And you get them set, they stay, and it's nice.
Yep,
but a lot of it has to do with the basket, and being able to get it set just right. So
mine runs about 245, 250 all day long. It'll run that for 12 hours. But I've also had, that's also my smoker I've had the longest, so I know that thing. Like, I know instantly what it's doing if it jumps up or does this or that. I know how to fix it. Just
right.
I always say you make good barbecue by making enough bad barbecue.
I can definitely say I've made enough bad barbecue.
That's what I always say. People are always like, they'll be like, "How do I fix this?" And I'll just tell them, like, "How do you know that?" I'm like, "Because I've done it. I've about every way to screw something up. I've about done it, so I know how to generally fix it."
Yeah, I can probably say that I've had some hockey pucks come off my brisket. I've had some pork that was way too mushy.
So I always say that's the best way to make good barbecue is to make bad ones.
Yep.
When I first started, my biggest thing was if I didn't think it had a white cloud like a train coming out of that exhaust, it wasn't smoking enough food.
Yeah, that was the way with my trailer offset. I always used to think I need to have all that smoke, and I realized that I didn't.
No. When you could taste it a day later, that's too much smoke.
Yep. When you were trying to get your clothes clean a week and a half later, and it still, that just meant you were standing in the fire.
I was at a comp, or when I was hosting, we had a guy, and it was literally all day long, just white, billowy. At one point in time, I looked down there, I'm pretty sure it was yellow, and I'm like, I'm glad I'm not eating that. But I mean, we all start somewhere.
I'm going to say, as a judge, I'm sure you've walked through a few times and seen some stuff, and you're just like, I hope that doesn't end up on my table.
Yeah. There's been a few times I take a bite, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, the worst thing I ever judged was actually in Olathe. I'd never given anything below a 7 before, ever. It was like somebody tried to fry a pork fritter and cover it in I don't even know what the hell it was. It was supposed to be pork, but it was not.
I didn't start doing pork until KCK, so I can't blame. It can't be mine.
And then I had one that it was the entire box was just pulled pork. It was full of pulled pork, but it was not good pulled pork. It was.
That was one of those they knew they screwed up and they just slapped it in there.
Yeah, I mean, who all hasn't done that? I mean, like, we got to turn in something. We can't just not turn it in. But
I mean,
we've all been there and done that.
When we first started out, we weren't sure what to turn in for pulled pork or for the pork competition. It was a lot of pulled pork. I mean, we didn't know what else. We didn't know the money muscle at the time. We didn't know all that back when we first started out. So
back at that time, it was still evolving too to what it is today. I mean,
everything's changed. Yeah, everything has changed. Just the tenderness, unlike the rib, that's not changed. But every year, it seems like the flavor profiles have changed just a little bit, and the people that have been finishing well are still finishing well, but they're still, you see them at some comps that you see the flavor profile, can't talk, has changed just a little bit for that comp even, that you're like, what was winning one week isn't winning the next, so.
Oh, yeah, and then there's been guys that turn the same ribs in on a rib burn and get like middle of the pack, and the next day they win the category and don't change a dang thing from their ribs, so.
Right. It could be that the ribs went 15 minutes longer or 15 minutes shorter, and that tenderness just took it where it needed to be, but it was the same flavor.
Yep.
So.
That's very true. So, who would you consider a barbecue mentor?
Well, I can say Greg Hasty. He's taught me quite a bit. I've talked to him quite a bit from Tebow Creek and American Fire. I mean, it's like everybody. I talked to Josh DeWitt, Smoking Brothers, and, working over there at Casey Grilling. Kevin Hesse with I don't even like the guy he's pointing at right now. So
I don't even know who he's pointing to.
Hesse with Weekend Bum. We sit here and text back and forth about stuff all day long. Brian and I bounce ideas off each other. Doesn't mean I like him, but we bounce ideas off of him. and see what kind of sounds good. We've played around with enough crap that it's. I could say I've known him and Rob the longest on when it comes to barbecue, so I'd say those two we talk about a lot.
So if people wanted to get a hold of you and order some of your sauce, do you have a website? Do you do it through Facebook? How do you usually do it?
I say first and foremost, hit the local shops if you're here in Kansas City. Hit American Fire. You can order it offline through them or online through them, Casey Grilling Company or Stockyards Barbecue. I do have a website. It's crookedqkc.com. You can order it through there as well. But like I say, support the locals here in Kansas City if you're in the Kansas City area. Otherwise, if not, hit me up on the website. Or you can go through my Facebook page.
That is very true. Support the stores. It's what keeps them around, and it keeps them buying from all of us. So,
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They do us all a favor by stocking it in their store. So,
Yep. If I keep them happy and they keep selling my stuff, they'll buy more of my stuff. So in the end, I still make the money. So
everybody makes the money, and they make a little bit too, and it makes everybody happy. Makes the world go around. So, you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
I mean, pretty much my sponsors are myself, Crooked Q, Addicted or Sofa King. I use American Fire for most of my rubs, sauce, or other rubs. Casey Grilling for their rubs. Weekend Bum's always there when I need it. Koi Knives out of Australia. Amazing cutlery. Got some price to it, but it's amazing stuff. Brian's seen some of my knives, and they're pretty badass. B&B Charcoal, Weber. So all those guys. Chop Shop KC for all my hats and shirts. So, and I've got more hats coming, so those will be available soon if people like those. So
that sounds good. Well, bro, do you have any questions for him?
You got a boy who travels with sports.
Yes.
When you travel, do you stop at any barbecue joints?
I actually, most of the time we don't. We don't have a lot of time when we're traveling. Most of the stuff is we get there, we're trying to get in and out, so we don't have a lot of time to eat. His football schedule's crazy. So we get down, we get to the hotel, we get set in, and then all of a sudden, next thing we're at the football fields. We might stop somewhere quick. I'd like to try more places as I get outside. We just went to Memphis, and unfortunately, the 3 places we went in Memphis weren't good. I'm not even going to name their names. But they weren't some of the main bigger names in Memphis. But I will say that what we did have was not good.
So, favorite barbecue restaurant?
I know it's bad. It slaps. I love slaps. But I
Zarda? Zarda what?
Who? I like slaps. I like chops up in Smithville. That Dan Udall's great. I've helped him out up there at the shop a little bit when he was hurting for employees. So Dan Udall's a great cook. He's done pretty well at the Royal and stuff like that as well. Chops, slaps. I still am an Arthur Bryant's fan. I always have been. I think it's just mainly the old smoker and the flavor and stuff that they've always had there.
Forget about Arthur Bryant's. Yeah.
That's because you don't go down that way anymore.
No, I don't.
So what's the future hold for you? Any ideas? You said they're going to do more comps next year.
Yeah, I'm going to do a few more KCBS next year. I'll probably try and hit at least 4 plus the Royal, and then at least 2 of the non-sanctioned ones I'll do. If the Shriners do the rib burn again, I'll do that one. If obviously I'll hit Effingham again. I may actually try and hit the Liberty event that they've got coming up that Kevin posted about. If I may do some catering, I don't know at that one, but I may try and hit that unsanctioned one this year too, just depending on how schedules work out.
I'd like to do the freeze or the rib burn in February that they do, just because we could gear up for the Royal for the year. But
yeah, that one I'd actually wanted to do last year, but scheduling with football and being out of town and stuff for work kind of threw that one out the window for me.
Did you say you go to Branson a lot?
Yeah, we actually have a place down Eagle Rock, and so we're about 45 minutes from Branson. So we're either in Branson or Eureka Springs.
Have you tried getting basted in Branson?
No, most of the time we go in, we go hang out, do our stuff, and I'm not really thinking about barbecue when I'm down there.
That's my
most
favorite
of the time.
part.
That is I go out of town and go to the lake house and stuff, and it's my reset. So,
yeah.
I mean, I may talk to one or two people about barbecue, but I don't normally go eating it.
That's funny because barbecue is my reset for me.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't cater near as you do, so that's a different.
I was going to say cooking it all the time. Barbecue is not your go-to when you, go out to eat. So
that's very true. That's like after I leave a contest, it's anything but barbecue.
Yeah, it's like next weekend I've got a wedding and a big birthday party, so I'll be cooking all weekend. I'll tell you, the last thing I'm eating is barbecue. So
that's like yesterday after we actually went to the benefit that I made the pulled pork for because they were having fish, and I ate the fish. I didn't eat pulled pork.
That's the way it is. I mean, on the way home from barbecue competitions, it's either Chinese or pizza.
Yep, pizza. I've had Dairy Queen once. That was pretty good too, but usually it's pizza.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So anything else for him, Brian?
So at Effingham, you're not bringing your trailer. You're bringing someone else's. Are you by chance putting a refrigerator in there?
I don't know. What if that can be something we could discuss?
Trying to figure out my dessert.
Oh, if you put it in my refrigerator, believe me, it may not make it to the table.
It got spilled in the fridge. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. Was Kelly ate it.
That's pretty crazy because you beat him in dessert last year to put your dessert in his fridge. That might be a little.
I mean, that is kind of poking the bear, and then it just.
I threw it in my cooler last year, and it wasn't 100% where I wanted it. So I'm like, I need a refrigerator.
But it's good enough to win, so obviously it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I might throw a mini fridge in there, but I don't know if I'll let you use it or not.
Well, mini won't be good enough because you'll be using it.
A mini fridge will still have enough room.
Maybe.
Only got turned in, 6 pieces?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But once he eats 3 of them, you're not going to have enough to turn in.
I'll cut them in half.
I mean, that's pretty much what I did last year. I made them, and they were like, oh, they're a little too big to fit in the boxes. I had to cut them in half again just so they'd fit in the boxes.
Yeah.
You have to turn the desserts in the turn-in box, or can you turn them in on a tray?
Up there at this one, you do.
I kind of like that because then it's not like the Royal where it's how big can the display be versus.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That was KCK was the same way. Most of the KCBS events, you can decorate your dessert boxes however, and as long as your number's on there. Same thing with like Bloody Marys. I didn't go stupid in my Bloody Mary turn in 6 cool glasses, some little decoration. I didn't make it look more like a meal than anything. So
that's what made for KC. I swear to God, those things are like a 4-course meal on their Bloody Marys.
I mean, I still walked away with 3rd place, so it must have been a pretty good Bloody Mary.
Exactly right. Well, Brian, do you have anything else before I let him go for the night?
No.
Thank you for coming on. You have anything else you want to say? Conclude?
Just keep cooking. Ask questions.
Yep.
And always check us out if you guys want sauces. I can tell you where to go, or you can get them through me. Well, and Brian, I'll make sure I'll get with you, and we'll get some more sauces stocked up.
Yep, sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Peace out.
Bye.